Have you ever wondered why the Joker is one of the most fascinating villains of all time? He transcends the screen and the pages of comics to become a true cultural phenomenon. More than just a criminal or a caricatured antagonist, the Joker is a broken mirror, reflecting chaos, hypocrisy, and the darkest abysses of society. And who knows, when we look at him, aren't we also glimpsing our own fears, impulses, and uncomfortable truths?
Why do we act the way we do? Why do certain stories move us? And why do we sometimes behave in ways even we can't explain? Beneath every action, every epic tale, and every iconic character lies something deeper, invisible layers of the human psyche, ancestral patterns, primal energies, and timeless forces that shape our very being. One mind dared to map this terrain. Carl Jung. He uncovered the existence of the collective unconscious, a vast shared sea of symbols and instincts. Within it live the archetypes, universal molds of behavior, emotion, and transformation. They are the hero, the sage, the rebel, characters of the soul, found in every culture, guiding how we live, love, fear, and rise. But every archetype carries two faces: the light, our strengths, gifts, and conscious potentials; the shadow, what we repress, ignore, or fear, yet holds the raw power of truth. Jung believed that integrating this shadow, not denying it, is the path to wholeness and authenticity. The dragon within doesn't need to be slain, only tamed. Welcome to Jung's Shadow Decode. Here, we explore iconic figures through this lens, revealing not just their journeys, but mirrors of our own. Ready to dive into the unconscious and decode the stories beneath the story. What is your shadow trying to tell you?
In this video, we'll dive deep to unravel the Joker like you've never seen before. We'll explore his ambiguous origins, which shift with every narrative, and his nihilistic philosophy that challenges sanity itself and the established order. Behind that hysterical and disturbing laughter, the smeared makeup and the insane gaze, lies a powerful Jungian archetype. An archetype capable of revealing hidden and uncomfortable truths about human nature, about the thin line between order and chaos, and about what happens when society fails at its most basic foundations. And the most intriguing part of all, the Joker isn't just darkness. Could there be a spark of light, or perhaps a distorted form of reason behind all the chaos he ignites? And more importantly, what do his story, his psychology, and his cultural impact reveal about you and the society we live in? Get ready for a decoding journey that promises to be as thought-provoking as the character himself. Because, believe me, by the end of this video, your perspective on the Joker, and perhaps on yourself, will never be the same. Before we proceed with our in-depth analysis of the Joker's mind, we invite you to join our community. If you appreciate the complexity of iconic characters and seek analyses that expand your understanding of the human psyche, subscribe to the channel and turn on the notification bell. This way, you'll ensure access to our upcoming videos, where we'll dive deep into other characters, real or fictional, that will surely make you question your perceptions. The next topic might just be the one that fascinates you the most. Click below and secure your place in this transformative journey through the dark and, paradoxically, fascinating side of the human mind. Our story begins with Arthur Fleck, an invisible man in an indifferent Gotham. He's a hired clown, battling mental health issues and an uncontrollable laugh, while caring for his sick mother. Despite everything, Arthur dreams of being a comedian, aspiring to bring joy to the world. His relationship with his mother, Penny, is unhealthy and distorted by fantasies, but it's on the subway that Arthur's life changes forever. Attacked by executives, he responds with unexpected violence, a first act of retaliation that ignites a dangerous sense of power. This incident is the turning point. Arthur's fragile sanity crumbles when he discovers the brutal truth about his childhood. He is not Thomas Wayne's son, but an adopted child and victim of abuse. This revelation shatters his last hopes. He abandons therapy and medication, sinking into growing isolation, feeling increasingly invisible to a society that rejects and antagonizes him. The climax of this descent occurs on The Murray Franklin Show. The TV program, once his great dream, becomes the stage for his point of no return. Live on air, Arthur vents his rage and frustration against society. His televised act of violence is not just a crime, it's a shocking statement. A manifesto that announces a new persona that no longer seeks laughter but a reaction. From that moment, Arthur Fleck's violence spreads like a virus through Gotham. What was one man's ruin becomes the emergence of a symbol of chaos. He, the humiliated clown, inspires riots and becomes an icon for the oppressed, a distorted beacon for those who have nothing left to lose. Amid the pandemonium, Arthur finally embraces his madness. The painful laughter blends with genuine sadistic joy, and he sheds any trace of empathy. This is the liberation of the Joker identity. The fragile man fully transforms into the iconic villain. The Joker is not just a chaotic villain or an agent of pandemonium. He is the perfect embodiment of the distorted pure archetype shadowed by darkness. Behind his maniacal laughter and destructive behavior lies an archetypal pattern that explains his journey of marginalization and madness. His story is one of crushed innocence, a mind that, instead of holding onto a fundamental belief in goodness and safety, was brutally fragmented by rejection and cruelty. This violated purity didn't turn into ordinary bitterness, but into a destructive nihilism, where belief in the goodness of life was replaced by the certainty of its farce. Today, we will decode every sign of this archetypal metamorphosis, diving into the shadow aspects of the pure that manifest chillingly in Arthur Fleck's journey. To understand the depth of the Joker, it's essential to first recognize the light aspects of the pure archetype that inhabited Arthur Fleck before his complete transformation. The pure, in its luminous essence, carries the characteristics of an innocent being, naturally optimistic, full of hope, and with a genuine desire to experience life. It trusts itself, others, and the world, seeing life as a safe place. The pure is joyful, spontaneous, sincere, enthusiastic about its projects, and endowed with an unshakable faith that everything will work out one way or another. It believes in the inherent goodness of people, is capable of forgiveness, is loyal, and seeks happiness above all, dreaming of a just world where everyone can be who they want to be. In Arthur, this light manifests in various ways, though fragile and constantly challenged. His faith that everything will work out is palpable in his relentless pursuit to become a stand-up comedian. Despite humiliations and rejections, he persists, filling notebooks with jokes, watching comedy shows, and dreaming of appearing on Murray Franklin's talk show. This is the pure in its dreamy and optimistic essence, believing that if he just tries hard and is good, he will be recognized and achieve his goal. His innocence and belief in what others tell him are evident in how he idealizes his relationship with his mother, Penny. Even in the face of clear signs of delusion and lies, Arthur blindly trusts her stories about his childhood and the supposed connection to Thomas Wayne. He doesn't see malice where it exists, preferring to believe in an idealized version of his life. This purity also reflects in his openness to knowledge, seeking help in therapy sessions and trying to understand his condition even when the system abandons him. In his most vulnerable moments, Arthur shows hope that people are good. He tries to do the right thing, works, attempts to connect with Sophie, his neighbor, and seeks social approval. There's a sincerity in his desire to be accepted and to bring joy to the world as a clown, even when life gives him nothing but pain. He aspires to a world where, as his mother taught him, he must put on a happy face and be happy. However, these glimmers of light are like sparks amid the growing darkness. The film skillfully shows us these traits of the pure in Arthur, not so we see him as a hero, but so we understand the tragedy of an innocence that was progressively crushed, leading to the manifestation of his deepest shadow. If the light aspects of the pure in Arthur Fleck show us his crushed innocence, it's the shadow aspects that truly shape his transformation into the Joker. The pure archetype, when distorted, manifests through the fear of losing trust in people, which can lead to a rejection of reality, turning a blind eye to others' mistakes and one's own. There's also an inability to recognize when one is being hurt, excessive credulity in authority figures, dependence on a savior to solve problems, and a refusal to mature. In Arthur, these shadows manifest in a devastating way. His fear of losing trust leads him to a deep denial of reality. He creates fantasies about his mother, Penny, and his connection to Thomas Wayne, ignoring the evidence of abuse and neglect surrounding him. This blindness is reflected in his inability to recognize when he's being hurt. Arthur internalizes the pain, humiliation, and contempt from Gotham as part of his condition, failing to see the cycle of victimization he's trapped in, and consequently, he doesn't seek the healing he needs. His blind faith in authorities is also a hallmark of the pure's shadow in Arthur. He trusts institutions, like social services, doctors, and his mother's narrative about his childhood unquestioningly. He believed that if he followed the rules and took his medication, everything would be fine, expecting the system or a savior, like Murray Franklin, whom he idolized, to fix his problems. This expectation that someone else would take responsibility for him led him to settle into his comfort zone until reality brutally confronted him. His refusal to grow up and his dependence on his mother's care also point to a Peter Pan syndrome, a dark facet of the pure. Arthur displays a notable emotional immaturity, unable to handle the responsibilities and frustrations of adult life in a healthy way. He often takes everything as a joke, even when the situation demands seriousness, as seen in his initial response to aggressions or his social worker's remarks. When his naive expectations are shattered, upon discovering the truth about his origins and being publicly humiliated by Murray Franklin, the pure's shadow unfolds into its most dangerous form. Vulnerability and dependence turn into manipulation and, ultimately, violence. The purity that expected goodness from the world, repeatedly betrayed, doesn't retreat but explodes into a nihilistic fury. The Joker is the ultimate representation of a pure pushed to the limit, where hope and faith in the world transform into chaotic vengeance against the society that allowed his light to be extinguished. Arthur Fleck is the visceral embodiment of the pure archetype, but completely twisted by its shadow. He embodies this energy so powerfully because his journey reflects the tragic corruption of innocence. In his light, Arthur relentlessly tried to be that pure figure, the optimistic dreamer, the comedian seeking acceptance, the son who blindly trusted his mother and the system to care for him. He yearned for a just world where his goodness, even if misunderstood, would be rewarded. However, it's in the shadow that the essence of the pure manifests in the most shocking and iconic way in the Joker. His naive belief in authorities and the goodness of the world was crushed by betrayal and neglect, transforming into a destructive nihilism. The fear of being abandoned and punished for making mistakes, central to the pure, evolved into a brutal retaliation against a society he felt had unjustly abandoned and punished him. His dependence and inability to recognize his own pain led him to a breaking point where the only way to feel seen was through violence and chaos. What makes Joaquin Phoenix's Joker so iconic is precisely this terrifying dance between lost purity and embraced madness. His compulsive laughter, initially a burden, becomes a macabre symbol of his liberation and disregard for others' pain. His dancing, once a clumsy attempt at connection, turns into a disturbing ballet of liberation and anarchy. His uniqueness lies in his ability to expose the darkest and most uncomfortable truths about society and the human psyche. The idea that light can be so fragile that when broken, it creates an unprecedented darkness. Arthur's journey mirrors the internal struggle many of us face when dealing with disillusionment, rejection, and the failure of the structures meant to protect us, making him an uncomfortable reflection of our own inner battles and the dangers of a society that ignores its most vulnerable. He forces us to question, how far can purity be tested before it transforms into something unrecognizable? To understand the universality of the pure archetype, it's powerful to contrast Arthur Fleck's dark journey with the radiant story of Forrest Gump. Like Arthur, Forrest Gump is the embodiment of the pure archetype, but he lives it in its most luminous and constructive form. While Arthur Fleck, the Joker, shows how the betrayal of innocence can lead to destructive nihilism, Forrest Gump demonstrates the incredible strength and resilience of purity. Forrest, with his simplicity and unwavering kindness, trusts life and people blindly, accepting every twist and turn with an unshakable faith that everything will work out one way or another. He opens himself to knowledge and experiences without prejudice, always seeing the good and forgiving easily. It's this innocence and optimism that lead him to live an extraordinary life, finding success in everything he touches, from college football to shrimp boating to historic encounters. The difference is striking. While Arthur Fleck is systematically crushed by a Gotham that ignores his pleas and exploits his naivety, Forrest Gump, despite his intellectual limitations and facing adversities, is consistently rewarded by life. He finds love, true friendship, and success because his pure acts as both a shield and a magnet for good. Where the shadow of the pure in Arthur leads him to loneliness and madness, the light of the pure in Forrest guides him to connection and happiness. Both exemplify the archetype, but their lives are inverted mirrors that illustrate how circumstances and choices, or the lack thereof, can determine whether purity manifests as a blessing or a curse. Arthur Fleck's journey, culminating in the Joker, teaches us a brutal Jungian lesson, that neglecting the shadow can lead to its most destructive manifestation. By confronting the chaos he ignites, Arthur reflects the terrifying consequences of a society that ignores the open wounds of its most vulnerable individuals. He is a vivid reminder that the truth, however uncomfortable, must be faced before darkness consumes everything. At Jung's Shadow Decode, we continue to explore these invisible forces, seeking to understand the archetypal patterns that shape us. This journey through Arthur Fleck's transformation into the Joker has peeled back the layers of the pure archetype, exposing its light and shadow in ways that hit close to home. Now, we want to hear your story. Have you ever felt the sting of betrayal, the weight of crushed innocence, or the temptation to lash out when the world turned its back on you? Or maybe you've found strength in your own pure light, like Forrest Gump, rising above challenges with unshakable hope. Join the Jung's Shadow Decode community and dive deeper into the forces that shape us. Subscribe now, hit the notification bell, and share your thoughts in the comments below. Tell us, which part of the pure archetype, its light or its shadow, resonates most with you? Your experiences and reflections are what fuel this community, so don't hold back. Let's decode the shadows together and uncover the truths that define who we are. Like this video if Arthur's story sparked something in you, and share it with someone who needs to confront their own shadows. The next video might just unravel the archetype that speaks to you. Click now and become part of this transformative journey.
If you've made it this far, it's because you understand that there is an invisible power at work in your life, shaping your decisions and your destiny. You've just seen how archetypes control the most iconic figures in history and pop culture. But what if I told you that this same secret code is at work within you, shaping every behavioral pattern, every repeated mistake, and every victory achieved? True self-knowledge isn't just about understanding why you act a certain way. It's about having the power to change it. It's about polishing your character, minimizing the mistakes that sabotage you, and maximizing the strengths that lead you to success. In my ebook, The Archetype Hack, I give you the complete map for this journey. With it, you will discover your dominant archetype and your true essence. Learn to bring light to your psychological shadow, transforming undesirable feelings into a driving force for your spiritual evolution. Do a self-inquiry exercise to rewrite the beliefs that limit your destiny. Study the 12 main archetypes and become free to activate the energy of any of them. Have you ever wondered what it would be like to have the discipline of a born leader or the courage of a world-changing innovator? With archetypes, you can activate these energies in your favor, and that's not all. To ensure you transform all this knowledge into real action, I have included 2 bonuses that are as valuable as the book itself. A powerful self-hypnosis technique to combat and overcome self-sabotage once and for all. The Nikola Tesla 3-6-9 technique, an infallible tool to manifest any goal you desire in your life. These bonuses are not mere extras, they are the keys that will open the doors to a new reality. Now you have two options. Continue watching analyses of other people, or start rewriting your own story. The journey to your maximum potential begins now. Click the link below and acquire the Archetype Hack. Don't wait any longer to become the creator of your own reality.